little after 6 a.m. for an 8 o'clock flight, and I got here a little bit too early.
Better safe than sorry, the motto for many travelers trying to make their way to holiday destinations. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Across the West tonight, the airports and the roads are packed as people head out for Thanksgiving. AAA expected the peak of the travel rush for drivers on the roads would be easing up by now. But as you can see from these live pictures, there are still some serious backups in the San Francisco Bay Area tonight. Slow going for a whole lot of drivers along Interstate 80 near Oakland. Now, AAA predicts 72 million people nationwide will be taking road trips over the long holiday weekend. That's up nearly 2 million compared with last year. The good news, though, for anyone hitting the road, gas prices are down compared to this time last year.
A lot of people, if they want to avoid flying, because ticket prices tend to be pricey over Thanksgiving, especially if everybody's trying to leave around the same time and come back the same time, most people opt to drive. So those road trip records are also high.
Save gas in my car, so I like to take it for a long drive because it's reliable. And on top of that, I think it's more safer and faster than going on airlines and less expensive.
The next big road travel day is this coming Sunday when everyone is heading home after Thanksgiving. Airlines are doing a much better job of staying on schedule today compared with earlier this week. Here is a live look tonight at the scene, a foggy scene at LAX here. More than 200 flights have been delayed at this airport. At both Seattle Tacoma International Airport and San Francisco International, there have been fewer than 200 delays. Quite the scene there at LAX with all of that fog, obviously impacting travel. Air travelers here in the West are running into the most trouble, though, in Denver. Here's a look at FlightAware's misery map showing the delays increasing there as a snowstorm crossed Colorado today. Nearly 700 flights into and out of Denver have been behind schedule today. TSA checkpoints have been very busy at airports all across the country. Agents are expecting to screen 2.9 million passengers just today. Many people are showing up to airports extra early, trying to ensure they can get to their gates on time.
Was here at little after 6 a.m. for an 8 o'clock flight, and I got here a little bit too early.
At least I'm here early and not having to deal with all the extra crazy running through the airport at the last minute. So I'm excited to see that the lines look great.
TSA agents expect to screen more than 3 million people this coming Sunday. Well, in the midst of the Thanksgiving rush, workers at the Oakland airport held a rally today calling for better pay and benefits. The union workers are contracted by the airlines to clean planes, handle baggage, assist wheelchair passengers, and help maintain safety operations. They make less than $20 an hour. They're calling on the Port of Oakland to raise minimum standards for all contracted workers.
As Southwest, don't be a turkey. We deserve dignity. It's Thanksgiving, but we have workers inside this building who make the legal minimum, the lowest you could possibly be paid and not be violating the law.
Board officials said today they understand the workers' concerns, but they say the issue is, quote, between the airlines and their contracted employees. Flights out of Oakland were not affected by today's rally. That's not the only place where people in the airline industry are rallying this week. People getting a jump start on the holiday travel rush watched Allegiant Air pilots picket outside the Provo Airport in Utah. This was earlier this week on Monday. They're asking for pay raises, scheduling improvements, and better benefits, including long-term disability.
We voted with 97.4% to authorize a strike. We aren't quite to that point in the process yet. In mediated negotiations, we have to reach an impasse at the bargaining table. It's been 2 years. When an impasse is reached and declared by the National Mediation Board, they release us into a 30-day cooling off period. After that 30-day cooling off period, if we can't come to an agreement on a contract with the company, at that point our union is authorized to call a strike and we will walk off the job.
Allegiant Air executives say they're hopeful the union will negotiate further to reach an agreement. There are no signs of this labor dispute getting in the way of holiday travel. Well, most people are either flying or driving for Thanksgiving, but that's not the only way to get where you want to go. Fox 12's McKenna Marks has more tonight on travelers in the Pacific Northwest choosing to take the train.
We just got on the train in Vancouver and we're now headed down to Portland. Let me tell you, the boarding process was much easier than going through airport security. Now, I spoke to passengers who tell me that if you have the chance this holiday season, why not book a ticket and travel by train? The holiday travel season is typically full of traffic on the roads, expensive tickets, and long lines at airport security. But that's not necessarily the case with train travel.
And it's relaxing, so if you have the time, it's a nice way to travel.
Even though Amtrak has reported an increase in passengers, travelers like Harold Nelson tell me that compared to an airport, traveling by train is considerably less stressful. I spoke to Nelson right after he got off his train at Union Station in Portland on his way to visit his family in Montana.
I'm looking forward to seeing my daughter and her new baby and enjoying Thanksgiving with her.
While many people are traveling for Thanksgiving, others are here to see the city.
Then I take a bus to Seattle. Then I took train to Portland. This is a city of books. I like it.
Summer Shao is visiting from China. She met her friend Audrey at her hotel, and they walked to Union Station together.
Train stations are always like a beautiful place. People coming and going.
Whether it's the nostalgic sound of the train whistle or the convenience of saving money on gas or parking, passengers say there's nothing quite like traveling by train.
People come and go, and the time flies in the train. And you can feel that when you take a train.
Reporting from the train, McKenna Marks, Fox 12 Oregon.
Yeah, certainly taking the train, a relaxing way to go during the holidays. Well, remember that snowstorm we told you about earlier this week crossing Colorado? Here's what it left behind. These images of snow piling up were captured in the mountains south of Aspen. A whole lot of it piling up here. Let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking the holiday forecast all across the West. Hey, Mark.
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, it looks like Colorado picked up the bulk of the snowfall, and the radar definitely showing you that weather story here, as you can see from Grand Junction to Denver. But the overall trend that the storm is moving on out, and as a result, the snow is moving on out as well. These are all of the storm reports here. It'll take a while to go through to sort through all of these, but here's just one to show you here. And this report was showing you 18 inches of snowfall. So that's an impressive accumulation with this system that moved across Colorado. As we take a look at the satellite right now, it's a fairly quiet pattern out there. Some high clouds moving into Seattle, and then some clouds which have been kind of focused over extreme Southern California and also in Arizona as well. Current number as we have, let's see, Phoenix is 70 degrees, Las Vegas 55, Los Angeles 57, some areas of fog there in Southern California. San Francisco 53, and then some 40s for Portland and Seattle. This was Seattle today, showing you some clouds and a few breaks in the clouds as well. Temperature of 45 degrees this afternoon. In San Francisco, completely clear. Those readings in the upper 50s in San Francisco. And then in the Phoenix area, the cloud cover is still lingering throughout the day. Temperatures in the upper 70s earlier this afternoon. Showing you this, the overall weather story for your Thanksgiving. We are going to bring in some more clouds for Seattle tomorrow. Temperatures mainly in the 40s. Key headlines, at least for the West Coast, no major storms to talk about. Lots of sunshine for the Bay Area. In Southern California, partly sunny skies and clearing things out in Denver with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s tomorrow afternoon. But a heads up in California here in the Central Valley, also out toward portions of the Bay Area, we do have a dense fog advisory. It's that Thule fog that develops usually after a rain event, and this could be a factor tomorrow morning. So it's a big drop off in visibilities, and that'll be the story for tomorrow morning with the dense fog advisory. There's the chance that could be reissued for Friday morning as well. Here is the forecast model. As I mentioned, no major storms out there. A few clouds approaching Washington, and then some high clouds approaching Southern California as well. So partly cloudy skies and no big changes throughout the day on your Thursday. So here is the game plan over the next 3 days. Lots of 40s for Seattle, San Francisco. Lots of sunshine for Thursday. We'll bring in a few extra clouds though for Friday and Saturday. Thanksgiving in Southern California should be nice. Lower 70s for Los Angeles. Pretty much the same story for Phoenix, and more sunshine out toward Denver as well. So at least for the travelers, no major storms to talk about for Thanksgiving, and even into the weekend we're looking okay with just some visiting clouds, at least off and on over the next few days. Alex.
Yeah, it certainly does look nice. Mark, thank you. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, Thanksgiving dinner with a kick of cannabis.
I got myself some cornbread, some stuffing, cranberry sauce, some butter, and a pecan pie. So we're not going to be fighting at all. We're going to be enjoying the day.
This is the day many call Green Wednesday. Up next tonight, how dispensaries hope to cash in on what many call the Black Friday of the cannabis industry. Plus, Utah commits to helping President-elect Trump carry out mass deportations during his new term, but now some state leaders are facing pushback.
My concern is the rhetoric and the political rhetoric going around about people who are aspiring to be citizens.
Law enforcement officials in Oregon believe their effort to crack down on retail theft is paying off. They say an operation conducted Sunday in the Portland area resulted in the arrest of more than 24 people. Authorities also say they recovered more than $1,000 worth of stolen goods and a stolen vehicle. One gun was also seized. Portland police officers and sheriff's deputies from Multnomah and Clackamas County were also involved in this operation. They worked with retail partners to identify and arrest those suspects. Well, for some, today is known as Green Wednesday. It's the day when marijuana dispensaries launch deals and promotions just before the holidays. Fox's Lauren Clark is in Arizona tonight with more on what makes today the second busiest day of the year for dispensaries, behind 420.
At Mid Cannabis in Tempe, spirits are high.
So it's Green Wednesday. We're all excited. It's our second biggest day of the year, right after 420.
As the green stuff is bringing in a whole lot of the other green stuff.
Tomorrow it's going to be a long day. You got to deal with the family all day, and we all have that Aunt Betty who's going to tell us, why don't you have a better job? Why aren't you married? And, you got to be able to be nice to her. So we think the cannabis eases the pain a little bit of having to deal with the family drama. So
Chief Operations Officer Raul Molina says the stress of Thanksgiving is baked into the day's financial success.
Today we're going to do double that we would do on a normal Friday. So today is Wednesday. So it's definitely an added bonus for the industry here in Arizona.
And just so you don't show up empty-handed, they're also selling THC-infused pumpkin and pecan pies, garlic herb butter, cornbread, cranberry sauce, and gravy.
Pick up my Thanksgiving meal because Thanksgiving can be a little bit of a rough time around the families.
Customer and Olympic swimmer Amy Van Dyken says she's ready for tomorrow.
I got myself some cornbread, some stuffing, cranberry sauce, some butter, and a pecan pie. So we're not going to be fighting at all. We're going to be enjoying the day.
From bud tenders.
Can't even get in. I mean, look at this line. It's not even 3 o'clock in the afternoon. On a Wednesday, right?
Bars across Old Town also geared up for the biggest evening of the year as people packed into local pubs like Coach House.
Still the best city in the world and the most Western city we could possibly have fun in. So the tradition is have fun because everyone is smiling today.
And that was Fox 11's Lauren Clark reporting tonight from Arizona. According to MoGreenway.com, cannabis sales on Green Wednesday last year reached $9.2 million, an 11% increase from the previous year, and a staggering 90% jump compared to the 3 prior Green Wednesdays. Screeners at Los Angeles International Airport caught someone trying to smuggle clothing that was caked in methamphetamine. Those security officers found the clothes and a cow pajama onesie inside 2 checked suitcases earlier this month. The items were dried and covered in white residue. A field test revealed that it was meth. Officers arrested a 31-year-old man from Northridge, California, who was planning to travel to Australia. He was indicted just yesterday. California health officials say a person has died from rabies after apparently being bitten by a bat. The person who died was from Fresno County in the Central Valley. Human deaths from rabies here in the U.S. are extremely rare, with less than 10 cases per year. Bats are the most common source of human rabies cases, and bites can often appear minor. The state health department is urging people to avoid any contact with wild animals, particularly bats. An 8-year-old boy is in critical condition after a statue fell on him earlier today at the Arizona Biltmore Resort in Phoenix. That heavy concrete statue known as a Sprite, there are many of them scattered throughout the resort. They weigh hundreds of pounds and they stand nearly 6 feet tall on pedestals. Authorities are now trying to figure out why one of them toppled over and onto that child.
We don't know what caused this. We really don't know what was going on before. We do have a fire station right down the street, Phoenix Fire Station 17. Those firefighters did an absolute fabulous job getting this kid in the ambulance and transported to the hospital really quickly.
Phoenix police tonight are looking for surveillance video and interviewing witnesses, trying to understand the circumstances of that accident. Utah Governor Spencer Cox says his state will help the incoming Trump administration to carry out mass deportations. Fox 13's Mia Constantino reports tonight the governor is facing some pushback for that commitment.
Governor Cox said local law enforcement will work to identify, incarcerate, and deport undocumented immigrants who have committed crimes and pose a threat to public safety. I'm Maya Constantino in Salt Lake City. State Democratic leaders spoke against Cox's announcement, and members of the community are worried what will happen next. Angela Romero, leader of the House Democrats, said she worries about Governor Cox's approach.
Do I want to make sure people are committing serious crimes and hurting people, that they're held accountable? Yes, I'm not debating that. But my concern is the rhetoric and the political rhetoric going around about people who are aspiring to be citizens or people who are undocumented or people who are asylees.
In a statement, Governor Cox says that he'll continue to welcome refugees and immigrants who enter the country lawfully. He says that he'll continue pushing for more visas to support workforce needs. In a statement from the Utah House Majority, Representative Karrian Lisenby said, "We know for certain that we must act to address the strain on Utah's communities, public safety, resources, and education system. The bill package will prevent future victims by working to stop human and drug trafficking and deter other criminal activity that endangers Utah residents." Ramon Ramirez works for a nonprofit that helps undocumented families find jobs and housing. He says the people around him are uncertain about what's ahead.
I have a lot of friends, a lot of persons when I work, they are Latin, they are in the process, so they feel like a little scared about what's happening because they don't have any idea.
Governor Cox says local law enforcement will continue training and guide local and state authorities while they identify criminal undocumented immigrants who need to be turned over to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcements. As for Romero, she'll always call this place home.
My family on my dad's side has been here for 12,000 years. We're Native American. So don't tell me to go home, because I am home.
In Salt Lake City, Maya Constantino, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Governor Cox believes focusing on the deportation of undocumented immigrants who have committed crimes will help the state in terms of both public safety and tax dollars. He says undocumented immigrants make up more than 4% of the state's prison population, costing Utah nearly $6 million a year. Coming up here on West Coast Wrap tonight, a little girl in Northern California witnesses a serious crash. What she did next that likely saved the woman inside that wrecked car.
The car just went boom right into the ditch. I'm just thankful she's okay.
Some people trying to immigrate legally here to the U.S. are facing a roadblock as they refuse to abide by the government's COVID-19 vaccination requirement. Some of them say they're opposed to the vaccine for religious beliefs. The CDC decides which vaccines are required for citizenship, and the current list includes mumps, polio, tetanus, and coronavirus. Now some are arguing the incoming Trump administration should change these rules.
On day one, could have his people sign an internal memorandum to remove the vaccine requirement.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer. No, I just opposed to the ones that conflict with my strong religious beliefs.
It's not clear yet how many people have been denied or have dropped their plans for U.S. citizenship based on the vaccination requirement. Congress has considered but failed to pass legislation to drop that mandate. A whole lot of thanks going around a Nevada medical clinic this holiday season. Fox 5's Jacqueline Schultz shows us how volunteers are helping patients to get the treatment they need, even as the nation struggles through an IV shortage.
Nevada, he was one of the best doctors. He said he could help me.
Pete Sandoval needed surgery here. Desert Cardiovascular Consultants. Patients may have congestive heart failure, pulmonary hypertension, vascular disease, or swelling of the limbs. Pete had pain walking. Recently, he says his elective, non-urgent surgery had to be delayed until the clinic could get more saline bags. Weeks ago, Hurricane Helene struck a North Carolina Baxter plant that makes most of the nation's supply. New orders are still being rationed.
I didn't really like it because I wanted to get it done.
We were pretty desperate for IV fluids. After Fox 5's program that aired that night, we were getting blown away with phone calls and with offers. And then as far away as New Jersey and New York, we had some offers internationally.
Dr. Zia Khan's office got help after going on social media and Fox 5. Does anyone have spare saline bags? So many supplies came in, Pete's surgery was back on schedule. Others could get theirs too.
And after he started the procedures, I started feeling better.
Definitely is life-saving treatment. We're very fortunate we did not have to delay anybody because of the saline shortage. We did have to modify their treatments.
Oncologist Dr. Rupesh Parikh says patients at comprehensive cancer centers critically need saline for procedures like chemotherapy and radiation. Right after the hurricane struck, he says the team for the 7 locations immediately ordered enough supplies. They even shared with hospitals and clinics in need. But nurses and staff had to educate patients on changes that do not impact treatment.
They came in for their treatments, they looked up at their pulse and say, oh, that's not enough fluid, or that's not what I usually get. And that's where our nurses really came into play. They did a lot of teaching, the same medicine, it's the same drug, just in a less concentration of fluid.
And that was Fox 5's Jacqueline Schultz reporting tonight. Baxter International Manufacturing is hoping to bring its IV production levels back up to normal by the end of this year.
And the car just went boom right into the ditch.
That's how 6-year-old Kaylee Johnson describes a scary moment she witnessed while she was playing outside. First responders believe that what she did after that helped to save a woman's life. Kaylee ran back to her home in Live Oak, north of Sacramento. After telling her parents what had happened, the whole family worked to get the woman inside that crashed car the help that she needed. The 75-year-old driver was upside down in that car, head and shoulders underwater. The family pulled her out to get her to safety until emergency crews arrived.
More than we'd have never known she went in the ditch. So you're the real hero.
During a phone interview, the woman Kaylee and her parents saved had nothing but praise for the family.
Just so thankful that they were there. Just tell them how wonderful they are, and they're just God's angels.
She's tough as nails, I'll tell you that. That lady is strong because she done flipped that car and she was okay. Like, she must have had a real guardian angel around her.
Yeah, she was very fortunate. The driver is recovering tonight from minor injuries after that crash. Well, electric vehicles are in the spotlight at this week's LA International Auto Show. Recently, EVs have been seeing their sales slowing down. The existing charging infrastructure remains a concern for potential buyers, and President-elect Trump campaigned against EV mandates, threatening to repeal the $7,500 federal tax credit for EVs. California going in an opposite direction. By 2035, every new car and light truck that a manufacturer sells in the state is going to have to be zero emission. And finally tonight, an early Thanksgiving for U.S. sailors crossing the Pacific Ocean. The military posted this video online showing crew members on the USS Tripoli enjoying a traditional Thanksgiving dinner last week. They also celebrated the Marines' 249th birthday. This crew is crossing the Pacific while conducting routine operations in U.S. 3rd Fleet. And the home port, by the way, for the USS Tripoli is in San Diego. A very happy Thanksgiving to all our service members. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching. As always, have a great rest of your night and a very happy Thanksgiving.